Admiral Elena Chen stood tall on the bridge of the Perseverance, Earth's flagship. Through the main view screen, she watched as the massive alien ships approached. The vessels of the Galactic Confederation dwarfed her fleet, each one at least 20 times larger than her flagship. "Status report," she ordered, keeping her voice calm despite the flutter of nerves in her stomach. Lieutenant Marcus Jones looked up from his console. "All 5 ships holding formation, Admiral. The aliens have sent another message. They're ready to receive our diplomatic team." 5 ships. That was all humanity had managed to build that could travel beyond their solar system. 5 small vessels, against the backdrop of space, facing the might of 17 advanced alien species. "Send confirmation," Elena said, "and tell Dr. Patel to meet me in the shuttle bay." As Elena walked through the corridors of her ship, crew members nodded respectfully. They all knew what was at stake. Humanity's first official contact with the Galactic Confederation could determine Earth's future for generations to come. Dr. Sanjay Patel was already waiting when she arrived. The diplomat looked nervous but determined. "Ready to make history, Doctor?" Elena asked. "As ready as I'll ever be," Sanjay replied with a small smile. "Though I wish we had more impressive ships to arrive in." Elena nodded. The Perseverance and its sister ships were small compared to the alien vessels. Earth had only discovered faster-than-light travel 15 years ago. They were newcomers to the stars, and it showed. The shuttle departed from the Perseverance, carrying Elena, Sanjay, and a small team of Earth's finest scientists and officers. As they approached the Confederation command ship, a massive structure that gleamed like polished silver, Elena couldn't help feeling like a child arriving at an adult's party. Inside the alien vessel, they were led through corridors twice as tall as they needed to be. Everything was designed on a scale that made the humans feel small and insignificant. The reception hall was filled with representatives from all 17 Confederation species. Some were tall and slender, others short and stocky. Some had multiple arms or eyes, while others looked almost human except for their unusual skin colors. "Welcome, Earth representatives," announced a tall, blue-skinned alien with 4 arms. "I am High Commander Zrel of the Confederation Council. We are pleased to welcome another sentient species to the galactic community." The words were friendly, but Elena noticed the dismissive looks and whispers among many of the aliens. They were not impressed. "Thank you for your welcome," Sanjay replied, with a respectful bow. "We come in peace and friendship, eager to learn and share knowledge." A harsh laugh cut through the formal atmosphere. All eyes turned to a group of muscular, gray-skinned aliens with ridge-like features on their faces. "Your ships are like children's toys," said one of them, stepping forward. "I am War Commander Thornton of the Valkyrie. My scout vessels are larger than your flagship." Elena felt her face flush with embarrassment, but Sanjay remained diplomatic. "Are young as a spacefaring species," he admitted, "but we are eager to learn." "Indeed," said another alien, this one with green scales and vertical pupils. "Such primitive design. Do your vessels even have proper shield technology?" More laughter rippled through the crowd. Elena noticed that not all aliens joined in the mockery, but none stepped forward to defend the humans either. High Commander Zrel raised a hand for silence. "Our new friends have much to learn. The Confederation will guide Earth as a protectorate species until you develop proper interstellar capabilities." "Protectorate?" Elena asked sharply before she could stop herself. Zrel's expression was kind, but condescending. "For your own protection, of course. The galaxy is filled with dangers a young species cannot understand." "We appreciate your concern," Sanjay said quickly, "but Earth is an independent world. We seek friendship as equals." War Commander Thornton snorted. "Equals? Your entire fleet could fit in our ship's cargo bay." The reception continued with thinly veiled insults, disguised as helpful advice. The humans were treated like children who had stumbled into an advanced civilization. Elena kept her composure, but inside she seethed. During a tour of the Confederation ship, an officer suddenly rushed to High Commander Zrel. "Commander, sensors detect an asteroid on collision course with our position." The room erupted in controlled Chaos as officers rushed to stations. Displays showed a large asteroid tumbling toward the gathered ships. "Evasive maneuvers," ordered Zrel. "All ships prepare to—" "We can help," Elena interrupted. "The Perseverance has maneuvering capabilities that might be useful." Thornton laughed. "What can your tiny vessel do that our fleet cannot?" "Let them try," Zrel said, curiosity in his voice. "It will be a learning experience." Elena tapped her communication badge. "Chen to Perseverance. Activate GMAS system and target the approaching asteroid. Minimal deflection required." The aliens watched the screens as the small human flagship moved toward the asteroid. From the ship's underside, a blue beam reached out, not striking the asteroid but creating a shimmering field around it. "What is this technology?" asked a six-eyed alien scientist leaning forward. The asteroid's path began to curve gradually, its trajectory shifting away from the gathered ships without breaking apart. "Gravitational manipulation and stabilization system," Elena explained, trying not to smile at the aliens' surprised expressions. "We find precise control more useful than brute force." The asteroid passed harmlessly by, its course altered just enough to avoid any danger. The room fell silent. The aliens stared at the humans with new eyes. "An impressive feat for such a small vessel," High Commander Zrel admitted. "War Commander." Thornton narrowed his eyes. "Perhaps there is more to humans than appearances suggest." As the reception resumed, Elena noticed a change in the atmosphere. The mockery had faded, replaced by curious glances and thoughtful expressions. She caught Sanjay's eye across the room and shared a small smile with him. The tiny fleet might be laughable to these advanced aliens, but humanity had just shown they weren't to be dismissed so easily, and this was only the beginning of what humans could do. Little did the Confederation know that the small size of Earth's fleet was not a weakness. It was a choice, and soon they would understand why. 3 months had passed since first contact. The Earth's small fleet remained stationed near the edge of the solar system, where a Confederation outpost had been established. Relations had been cordial but cool, with most alien species still viewing humans as primitive newcomers to space. Admiral Elena Chen sat in her office aboard the Perseverance, reviewing reports when her communication panel lit up. "Admiral, we're receiving a priority message from the Confederation Council," Lieutenant Jones reported. "They're requesting your presence and Dr. Patel's at the outpost immediately." Elena frowned. "Did they say what this is about?" "No, ma'am. Only that it's urgent." An hour later, Elena and Sanjay stood in the outpost's conference room. High Commander Zrel was there, along with War Commander Thornton and representatives from 3 other major Confederation species. "Thank you for coming so quickly," Zrel said. His forearms positioned in what Elena had learned was a formal stance. "We have important matters to discuss regarding Earth's position in galactic affairs." Thornton, the Valkyrie commander who had mocked their fleet months ago, looked grim. "We have been withholding certain information from you." Sanjay tensed. Beside Elena, "What kind of information?" A holographic display activated in the center of the room, showing a map of this section of the galaxy. Earth's solar system blinked near the edge of Confederation territory. "Your system sits at a strategically critical location," Zrel explained. "Beyond your space lies the territory of the Scourge Empire." Images appeared of dark, jagged ships that looked like floating fortresses covered in weapons. "The Scourge are expansionists," continued Zrel. "They conquer any world they find useful, and destroy those they don't. We have maintained an uneasy peace with them for decades, but our intelligence suggests they are planning a major offensive soon." Elena studied the map carefully. "And they would come through our system." "Precisely," Thornton said. "Your world sits in their path. That is why we established contact when we did. We face a difficult situation," Zrel said, his voice softening. "The Confederation Council has voted. We cannot commit our full forces to defend an undeveloped world on the border." Elena felt her blood run cold. "What are you saying?" "You have 2 options," Thornton stated bluntly. "Surrender your sovereignty and accept full Confederation control of your system, including military occupation of Earth, or maintain your independence and face the scourge alone when they come. That's not a choice, Sanjay protested. That's an ultimatum. It is reality, Thornton replied. Your tiny fleet cannot hope to stand against even a small scourge attack force. They would destroy your civilization in days. Elena controlled her anger. When must we give our answer? You have 1 Earth week, Zrel said. I am sorry it has come to this. Back aboard the Perseverance, Elena called an emergency meeting with her senior staff. The mood was tense as she explained the situation. So they pretended to be friendly while waiting to spring this trap, said Commander Lena Rodriguez, her security chief. Either become their puppet state or get destroyed by these scourge monsters. Sanjay looked thoughtful. They believe our capabilities are limited to what they've seen. Perhaps it's time to show them more. Elena nodded slowly. I agree. Contact Earth. We need an emergency session with the World Council. 2 days later, Elena sat in her ready room, facing a secure communication screen. On it was President Kwame Okafor of the United Earth Government. The Council has deliberated, Admiral, the President said. We will not surrender Earth to Confederation control. And the alternative plan? Elena asked. Approved. It's time to reveal our true capabilities. My daughter has already departed with the technical team. Elena smiled for the first time in days. Dr. Amara Okafor is coming here personally? Yes. As the chief architect of our advanced propulsion and weapon systems, she's the best person to implement protocol revelation. Later that day, Elena stood in the shuttle bay as a sleek black ship docked, much smaller than even the Perseverance, but somehow more impressive. The hatch opened, and a tall woman with dark skin and bright, intelligent eyes stepped out. Admiral Chen, said Dr. Amara Okafor, extending her hand. A pleasure to finally meet in person. The pleasure is mine, Doctor. Your reputation precedes you. Amara smiled. I hear we're finally dropping the facade. Good. I've been maintaining these disguised ships for too long. They walked together toward the bridge, discussing plans in low voices. How soon can the systems be fully activated? Elena asked. For the Perseverance and the other 4 ships here? 24 hours, Amara replied. For the rest of the fleet? They're already on standby throughout the system, hidden just as we planned years ago. Unknown to them, a figure watched from the shadows of a corridor. Krav, a Valkyrie intelligence officer assigned to the Perseverance as an observer, had overheard enough to raise his suspicions. Something about these humans didn't add up. Krav slipped away and found a secure area to contact War Commander Thornton. Sir, I've observed inconsistencies in the humans' behavior, he reported. They speak of hidden capabilities and a larger fleet than what we've seen. Thornton's image looked skeptical. Their technological development timeline suggests they barely managed to build the 5 ships we've seen. With respect, sir, I believe they've been deceiving us. Continue your surveillance, Thornton ordered. But be careful. If they truly have hidden strengths, we need to know before the Scourge arrive. The next morning, alarm klaxons blared throughout the Confederation outpost. Elena rushed to the command center, where Zrel and Thornton were reviewing urgent reports. What's happening? She demanded. Zrel looked grave. Our long-range sensors have detected Scourge scout ships entering the outer solar system. They're earlier than we expected. How many? Elena asked. 3 vessels, Thornton replied. Advanced scouts likely assessing your system's defenses. Zrel turned to Elena with genuine regret in his eyes. I'm sorry, Admiral. The Confederation fleet cannot arrive for at least 5 days. We must begin evacuation procedures for your key personnel. Elena exchanged a glance with Sanjay, who had just entered the room. A silent understanding passed between them. That won't be necessary, High Commander, Elena said firmly. Earth can defend itself. Thornton laughed harshly. With what? Your 5 tiny ships against Scourge battle cruisers? Elena tapped her communication badge. Chen to Perseverance, initiate protocol revelation. Authorization, Chen Alpha 79. What is this protocol? Zrel asked, frowning. Elena smiled. Something the Scourge and the Confederation are about to learn the hard way. Humanity didn't build a tiny fleet because we couldn't build more. She looked directly at Thornton. We built small ships because sometimes the smallest packages contain the biggest surprises. A stunned silence fell over the Confederation Command Center as Admiral Chen's words hung in the air. High Commander Zrel and War Commander Thornton exchanged confused glances. "What do you mean?" Thornton demanded. Before Elena could answer, Lieutenant Jones's voice came through her communication badge. "Admiral, protocol revelation is active, all systems coming online." "On screen," Elena ordered. The main display in the command center flickered to life, showing the 5 human vessels. At first, nothing seemed different. Then, panels began sliding open across the hulls of each ship, revealing hidden weapon ports, sensor arrays, and propulsion systems that had been completely concealed. "What is happening?" Zrel asked, his forearms gesturing in surprise. "The real Perseverance is waking up," Elena said simply. Dr. Amara Okafor entered the command center, her tablet displaying complex schematics. All ships report successful transformation, hidden systems at 100% capacity. The aliens watched in amazement as the human vessels began to glow with a strange blue-green energy that their sensors had never detected before. "Impossible," whispered a Confederation science officer. "Those energy readings, they're off our charts." Elena turned to Zrel. "High Commander, we request permission to intercept the Scourge scout ships." Zrel seemed too shocked to respond immediately. Thornton stepped forward. "You still only have 5 ships," he said, though his earlier mockery was replaced with uncertainty. "The Scourge scouts are battle cruisers." "5 is all we need," Elena replied confidently. "Dr. Okafor, would you explain?" Amara activated a holographic display from her tablet. It showed complex diagrams of the human ship's true capabilities. "What you've seen until now was a facade," she explained. "Our hulls contain adaptive metamaterials that can change configuration. Our propulsion system uses quantum field manipulation, not the standard drives your ships employ. And our weapons—" She paused, allowing the display to show a simulation of a small energy pulse disabling a much larger vessel without destroying it. "We prefer precision over destruction," Amara concluded. Thornton studied the diagrams with growing interest. "Why the deception? Why hide your true technology?" "Earth's history is filled with examples of what happens when technologically advanced civilizations meet less advanced ones," Sanjay explained. "Usually, the less advanced civilization is conquered, exploited, or destroyed. We decided to appear less threatening until we understood the galactic political landscape." Elena nodded. "And it seems we made the right choice, given your ultimatum." Alarm signals interrupted the conversation. "Scourge vessels have changed course," reported a Confederation officer. "They're heading directly for the Jupiter outpost." "That outpost has minimal defenses," Zrel said, concerned. "Our reinforcements are days away." Elena straightened her uniform. "We'll handle it. Dr. Okafor, you're with me. Sanjay, stay here and continue diplomatic relations." As Elena and Amara hurried toward the shuttle bay, Krav, the Valkyrie intelligence officer, fell into step beside them. "I'm coming with you," he stated. Elena raised an eyebrow. "Under whose authority?" "Mine," said Thornton, appearing behind them. "I want to see these hidden capabilities firsthand." Elena considered for a moment, then nodded. "Very well. But you follow my orders on my ship." Back aboard the Perseverance, Elena took her command chair while Thornton and Krav stood behind her, observing with keen interest. The bridge looked completely different now. Sleek interfaces had replaced the seemingly primitive controls, and holographic displays showed advanced tactical information. "All ships form intercept pattern beta," Elena ordered. "Remember, disable, don't destroy. We want prisoners, not casualties." The 5 human vessels accelerated toward Jupiter at speeds that made Thornton's eyes widen. "Your acceleration is beyond anything in the Confederation fleet," he remarked. "Inertial dampening fields," Amara explained from her station. "We don't feel the G-forces you might expect. Within minutes, they approached Jupiter's largest moon, where the Confederation had established a research outpost. 3 dark, jagged scourge ships were already firing upon the outpost's weak shields. "Enemy vessels detected us," Lieutenant Jones reported. "They're breaking off attack and moving to intercept." "Perfect," Elena said. "Activate stealth mode." To Thornton's astonishment, the 5 human ships seemed to fade from view, becoming nearly invisible against the backdrop of space. "Optical camouflage?" he asked. "Among other things," Amara replied with a small smile. The scourge ships fired blindly, energy weapons cutting through empty space where they thought the human vessels might be. Meanwhile, the Perseverance and its sister ships maneuvered with impossible precision, each taking position around one of the enemy vessels. "All ships deploy harmonic disruptors on my mark," Elena commanded. 3, 2, 1, our mark. From each human ship, a pulse of blue-green energy expanded outward, washing over the scourge vessels. The effect was immediate. The enemy ships' weapons went silent, their engines sputtered, and their hulls drifted powerlessly. "All scourge systems disabled," Jones reported. "Their life support remains functional, but weapons, engines, and communications are offline." Thornton stared in disbelief. "You disabled 3 battlecruisers without firing a single destructive shot?" "Violence is easy," Elena said. "Control is harder, but often more useful." Within an hour, Confederation security teams had boarded the disabled scourge vessels and taken the crews prisoner. The Jupiter outpost, though damaged, had suffered no casualties. Back at the main Confederation outpost, Zrel greeted Elena with new respect in his eyes. "You've saved many lives today, Admiral," he said, "and shown capabilities we didn't believe possible from a species so new to space travel." "How long have you really been capable of interstellar flight?" Thornton asked directly. "Longer than we let on," Elena admitted. "We detected your Confederation signals 40 years ago and began preparing. Then we noticed the Scourge activity beyond our system. You knew about the Scourge before we contacted you?" Zrel was shocked. Sanjay nodded. "We developed quantum observation technology that allows us to see across vast distances. We've been watching both the Confederation and the Scourge for decades." Krav, who had been silent until now, stepped forward. "Why maintain the charade of a tiny, primitive fleet? Why not show your strength immediately?" "Earth's history taught us caution," Sanjay explained. "Showing too much power too quickly makes you a target. Appearing weak while being strong has advantages. A wise strategy," Thornton admitted grudgingly. "One the Valkyrie might appreciate." Elena's communication badge beeped. "Admiral, we're detecting multiple Scourge signatures at the edge of the system," came Lieutenant Jones's urgent voice. "Much larger than the scout force. They'll be here in 3 days." Zrel looked grave. "Our fleet cannot arrive in time. Even with your impressive technology, 5 ships cannot stand against a full Scourge invasion force." Elena smiled confidently. "Who said we only have 5 ships?" She tapped her badge. "Chen to Earth Command, activate all units. Authorization Chen Omega Final." The command center's long-range scanners suddenly lit up with new signals appearing throughout the solar system. From behind Mars, from Earth's moon, from the asteroid belt, and from hidden bases on the outer moons. Hundreds of small, sleek vessels, each similar to the Perseverance, emerged from hiding. "By the stars," whispered Zrel, watching the displays as ship after ship appeared. Thornton turned to Elena, his earlier mockery completely gone. "You never had a tiny fleet." "No," Elena agreed. "We just let you think we did." The Confederation outpost buzzed with activity as representatives from all 17 species gathered in the central chamber. The mood was tense, but energized with a new sense of possibility. At the center of the room, Admiral Elena Chen and Dr. Amara Okafor stood before the Confederation Council, now convened in emergency session. "Let me understand this clearly," High Commander Zrel said, his forearms gesturing in controlled patterns that expressed both confusion and interest. "You claim to have been aware of the Scourge Empire before we ever contacted Earth?" "That's correct," Elena confirmed. Our quantum observation technology allows us to monitor activities across vast distances without detection. Elena nodded to Amara, who activated a holographic display. It showed detailed movements of scourge fleets across several star systems. This is live data, Amara explained. We've been tracking scourge fleet movements for years. Their current invasion force consists of approximately 300 warships, including 12 command dreadnoughts. The Confederation representatives murmured in concern. Thornton stepped forward, his earlier arrogance replaced by grudging respect. How accurate is this intelligence? He demanded. Precise to within 99.8%, Amara replied. We can count the number of crew members on each vessel if needed. A blue-skinned scientist with 6 fingers on each hand studied the display intently. This technology alone would revolutionize our defensive capabilities. How does it function? Without alerting the observed targets? It operates on principles of quantum entanglement and dimensional folding, Amara said. Rather than sending signals that can be detected, we observe the quantum echoes that all matter creates across dimensional boundaries. The scientist blinked rapidly, indicating confusion. That's theoretically impossible. Amara smiled. For the Confederation, perhaps, but humanity has taken some unique approaches to physics. Zrel raised his hands for order. The Council needs time to verify this information and consult with our military strategists. Admiral Chen, we request access to your observation data. Of course, Elena agreed. Dr. Okafor will coordinate with your science teams. As the meeting continued, Krav, the Valkyrie intelligence officer, approached Sanjay in a quieter corner of the chamber. Your people deceived us completely, Krav said, but there was no anger in his voice, only professional admiration. We pride ourselves on accurate intelligence, yet we miss the truth about Earth. Sanjay nodded. It wasn't personal. Throughout human history, when technologically advanced civilizations encountered less advanced ones, the results were rarely positive for the less advanced group. We learned from our own painful past. A strategy worthy of the Valkyrie, Krav admitted. But tell me, why reveal yourselves now? You could have remained hidden, letting us believe you needed our protection. Because the scourge threat is real, Sanjay replied seriously. And we believe in defending all sentient life, not just our own. Humanity has fought too many wars among ourselves to desire conflict with others. We prefer cooperation. Krav considered. This. An unusual perspective. The Valkyrie believe strength must be demonstrated to be respected. Sometimes the greatest strength is knowing when not to use it, Sanjay said. Elsewhere in the station, Dr. Okafor worked alongside Confederation engineers, showing them how to integrate some human technological innovations with their systems. This power regulation method alone will increase your weapon's efficiency by 30%, she explained to an impressed group of alien technicians, and it can be implemented using components you already have. Why share this with us? Asked a reptilian engineer. You could have kept these advantages for Earth alone. Because we're stronger together, Amara replied simply. The scourge threaten all of us. My father, the president, believes that knowledge shared creates more benefits than knowledge hoarded. Meanwhile, Admiral Chen was meeting with the Confederation's military leadership. War Commander Thornton and his counterparts from other species studied the tactical displays with growing concern. The Scourge fleet will arrive in approximately 60 hours, Thornton stated. Our nearest reinforcements cannot arrive for at least 72 hours. Even with your hidden fleet, Admiral, we face difficult odds. Numbers aren't everything, Elena replied. Quality can overcome quantity, and we have some additional surprises. The Scourge won't expect. Such as? Asked an avian commander with metallic feathers. Elena smiled. The ships you've seen are just our forward fleet. Throughout the solar system, we have defensive platforms, automated drone systems, and specialized vessels for different combat roles. Earth has been preparing for this possibility for decades. As if to confirm her words, new signals began appearing on the tactical displays. From hidden bases on Mars, from asteroids, and from the moons of Jupiter and Saturn, more human vessels. and installations revealed themselves powering up defenses. Thornton's eyes widened. How many ships do you actually have? Enough, Elena replied. But we'll still need Confederation support once your reinforcements arrive. This is just the beginning of the Scourge expansion. If they're not stopped here, they'll continue deeper. Into both our territories. The Valkyrie commander studied her with new eyes. You're not just defending Earth, are you? You're thinking of the broader strategic picture. Exactly. Humanity has always excelled at strategic thinking. It's how smaller forces have defeated larger ones throughout our history. As the military briefing continued, tension rose on the command deck. A junior officer rushed in, reporting directly to Thornton. Commander, urgent message from Valkyrie High Command. Our scout ships near the Diamond Nebula report that the main Scourge fleet has increased speed. They'll arrive in 48 hours, not 60. Thornton turned to Elena. Is your fleet ready to move immediately? Always, she replied confidently. The question is, are you ready to follow our lead? The Valkyrie commander hesitated, pride warring with practicality. Finally, he nodded sharply. The Confederation fleet elements already in the system will follow your tactical direction, Admiral Chen. For now. That's all I ask, Elena said. She tapped her communication badge. Chen to all Earth vessels, battle stations, deploy to defensive, positions according to Plan Omega. We move in 30 minutes. Throughout the solar system, hundreds of human ships acknowledged the order. Their sleek forms moved with precision, taking up positions in a complex defensive formation that protected not just Earth, but the entire inner system. From the observation deck of the Confederation outpost, Sanjay watched the human fleet maneuver. Beside him, High Commander Zrel observed with a new appreciation. 3 months ago we laughed at your tiny fleet, the Confederation leader admitted. Now the survival of this sector may depend on it. Appearances can be deceiving, Sanjay replied. That's something humanity learned long ago. We appear small, but inside us burns a determination that has carried us through countless challenges. Zrel turned to him. Why build small ships when you clearly have the technology for larger vessels? The Scourge build massive dreadnoughts to inspire fear. Because humanity learned that bigger isn't always better, Sanjay explained. Our ships are small because they need to be fast, agile, and difficult to target. We don't need to intimidate with size when we can win with skill. As they spoke, the human fleet continued its deployment, a dance of hundreds of vessels moving in perfect coordination. The scoffing and mockery that had greeted Earth's first contact with the Confederation was now replaced by silence and respect. No one was laughing at the tiny fleet anymore. The massive Scourge armada entered the solar system near Neptune, exactly as the human sensors had predicted. 300 warships, their black hulls bristling with weapons, moved in tight formation. At their center, 12 enormous dreadnoughts controlled the fleet's movements. From the bridge of the Perseverance, Admiral Elena Chen watched the tactical display with calm focus. Beside her stood War Commander Thornton, who had insisted on joining the human flagship rather than commanding. From the Confederation outpost, they're deploying in standard Scourge attack formation, Thornton observed. 3 waves with heavy support in the rear. Elena nodded. As expected, are the Confederation vessels in position? Yes. 27 ships, arranged according to your tactical plan. Thornton still seemed uncomfortable with following human orders, but he had seen enough to respect Elena's capabilities. It's not many, but it will have to do, Elena said. She opened a channel to all vessels. This is Admiral Chen. The Scourge fleet has arrived. All ships maintain stealth protocols until my command. Remember your training. Stay mobile, hit precisely, and protect each other. Chen out. Dr. Amara Okafor entered the bridge, carrying a small device that pulsed with blue-green energy. The harmonic disruptor is ready for full deployment, Admiral. All ships have synchronized their systems. Will it work on such a large scale? Thornton asked skeptically. In theory, Amara admitted. We've never tested it against so many targets simultaneously. But even partial success will give us an advantage. Elena stood, All ships, battle stations. Operation Swarm begins in 5 minutes. Throughout the human fleet, crews prepared for combat. Unlike Confederation or Scourge vessels, where hundreds of crew members operated each ship, the human vessels were largely automated, requiring only small, specialized teams. The Scourge fleet moved deeper into the system, their sensors scanning for defenses. They detected the small group of Confederation ships near Neptune and adjusted course to intercept. "They've spotted the Confederation vessels, but our fleet remains undetected," reported Lieutenant Jones. "The Scourge are moving to engage." "Right into our trap," Elena said with satisfaction. "War Commander, signal your ships to begin the diversionary. Attack." Thornton gave the order. The Confederation vessels, primarily Valkyrie warships, moved forward and began firing at the approaching Scourge fleet. Their weapons, while powerful, barely damaged the lead Scourge vessels. Confederation ships engaging, Jones reported, Scourge fleet responding with full firepower. The space around Neptune lit up with energy weapons and explosions as the vastly outnumbered Confederation ships fought against the Scourge advance. Despite their bravery, they were clearly outmatched. Thornton watched with growing tension as 2 Confederation cruisers exploded under concentrated Scourge fire. "We're losing ships. When do we reveal your fleet?" "Now," Elena said firmly. "All ships disengage stealth systems. Execute pattern starburst." Across the battlefield, hundreds of human vessels suddenly appeared, surrounding the Scourge fleet from all sides. Instead of confronting the enemy in a traditional formation, the human ships darted forward in small groups, weaving between the larger Scourge vessels with incredible speed and precision. "What is this strategy?" Thornton demanded, watching as the small human ships seemed to fly chaotically around the enemy. "Operation Swarm," Elena explained. "Each ship has independent attack authority within coordinated parameters. We don't fight as a single unit, but as hundreds of adaptable elements." The Scourge responded with massive barrages of weapons fire, but the human vessels were too small, too fast, and too unpredictable to target effectively. Meanwhile, each human ship fired precise shots at Scourge weapon emplacements and sensor arrays, gradually disabling the larger vessels piece by piece. "It's working," Thornton said with amazement. "Your tiny ships are too small to target efficiently." "Size isn't everything," Elena replied with a small smile, "especially in space combat." Despite the initial success, the sheer number of Scourge ships began to tell. Several human vessels were destroyed, and the Scourge dreadnoughts remained, largely untouched, protected by multiple layers of smaller ships. "The dreadnoughts are launching fighters," Jones reported urgently. "Hundreds of them." Small dart-like Scourge attack craft poured from the larger ships, better able to match the human vessels in speed if not in maneuverability. "Phase 2, Elena ordered. "All ships prepare to deploy harmonic disruptors on my mark." Amara monitored her console intently. "Energy synchronization at 98%. Ready when you are, Admiral." Suddenly, alarms blared across the bridge. A massive energy surge erupted from the lead Scourge dreadnought, catching several human ships in its path and vaporizing them instantly. "They've deployed their main weapon," Thornton exclaimed. "Even Confederation battleships can't withstand that." The massive energy beam swept toward another cluster of ships, including the Valkyrie command vessel where Thornton would normally have been stationed. "Valkyrie command ship directly in the beam's path," Jones shouted. "They can't evade in time." Without hesitation, Elena made her decision. "Helm, intercept course, full speed, divert all power to forward shields." The Perseverance shot forward, placing itself between the Scourge weapon and the Valkyrie ship. The energy beam struck the human vessel, bathing it in destructive force. "Shields holding at 42%, Jones reported as the ship shuddered around them. "Hull integrity compromised on decks 3 through 7. "Maintain position," Elena ordered through gritted teeth as the bridge consoles sparked around her. "We need to give the Valkyrie ship time to move clear." Thornton stared at her in disbelief. "You're sacrificing your ship to save mine?" "That's what allies do," Elena replied, gripping her chair as the ship shook violently. "We protect each other, regardless of past differences." The beam finally dissipated, leaving the Perseverance damaged but intact. The Valkyrie command ship had escaped destruction. Shields down to 17%, Jones reported. Multiple systems failing, but the Valkyrie ship is clear, Admiral. Now, Dr. Okafor, Elena ordered. Deploy the harmonic disruptor. Amara activated the device on her console. From the Perseverance, a pulse of blue-green energy expanded outward. Similar pulses emanated from every human ship still operational, creating a complex pattern of energy that spread throughout the battlefield. When the pulses reached the Scourge vessels, the effect was immediate and dramatic. Weapons went silent. Engines sputtered and died. Communication systems failed. The massive dreadnoughts, just moments ago seemingly invincible, drifted powerlessly. It worked, Amara exclaimed. Complete systems disruption across 87% of the Scourge fleet. The remaining 13% are the outer vessels, Jones added. They're turning to retreat. A cheer went up from the bridge crew. Even Thornton looked impressed. I've never seen anything like this, the Valkyrie commander admitted. You disabled an entire invasion fleet without destroying it. Mass destruction is easy, Elena said, echoing her earlier words. Control takes skill, and now we have hundreds of Scourge ships to study and potentially hundreds of thousands of lives we didn't have to end. As the human fleet moved to secure the disabled Scourge vessels, Thornton approached Elena privately. You risked your life and your ship to save my command vessel, he said quietly. Why? After how the Valkyrie treated you. Elena looked him in the eye. Because that's who humans are, Commander. We remember our enemies, but we never forget our friends. And we'd rather make friends than enemies given the choice. For the first time, Thornton inclined his head in a gesture of true respect. The Confederation was wrong about humanity, he said. We saw your small ships and thought you weak. We never considered that you might be strong in ways we hadn't imagined. Outside the viewports, the disabled Scourge fleet drifted silently, against the backdrop of Neptune, a testament to humanity's unexpected power and the strength that can be found in what others mock as tiny and insignificant. 1 week after the Battle of Neptune, representatives from all 17 Confederation species gathered in the Grand Council chamber aboard their largest diplomatic vessel. The mood was solemn yet hopeful. At the center of the chamber stood Admiral Elena Chen, Dr. Amara Okafor and Sanjay Patel representing Earth. High Commander Zarel addressed the assembly. We stand at a historic moment. The Scourge invasion force has been defeated with minimal loss of life on both sides. This unprecedented victory would not have been possible without the humans and their... He paused, searching for the right words. Their remarkable fleet. Murmurs of agreement rippled through the chamber. Species that had once mocked Earth's vessels now looked at the human representatives with new respect. Therefore, Zarel continued, the Council has voted unanimously to elevate Earth from protectorate status to full membership in the Galactic Confederation with all rights and responsibilities thereof. Applause filled the chamber. Sanjay stepped forward to accept the formal scroll of membership. Earth is honored to join the Confederation as equals, he said. We look forward to sharing knowledge, culture, and a peaceful future with all species. After the ceremony, the real work began. In a large operations center, Admiral Chen worked with Confederation military leaders to integrate human tactical approaches into their defense strategies. The key is flexibility, Elena explained to the gathered commanders. Large ships have their place, but a diverse fleet with vessels of many sizes creates more options. War Commander Thornton, now one of humanity's strongest supporters, nodded in agreement. The Valkyrie have already begun designing smaller, more agile warships based on human principles. Size and power alone are not enough. And neither is technology. Without proper strategy, Elena added. The Scourge outmatched us in raw firepower, but our coordinated swarm tactics gave us the advantage. Elsewhere on the station, Dr. Okafor led a joint research team examining the captured Scourge vessels. Engineers and scientists from multiple species worked together, combining their unique perspectives. The Scourge technology is impressive in its own way, Amara explained to her team. They focused entirely on destructive power, but we can adapt some of their energy management systems for peaceful purposes. A 6-armed Confederation engineer looked up from his work. Dr. Okafor, I've been meaning to ask, why did your people choose to create non-lethal weapons like the harmonic disruptor? Most species develop destructive capabilities first. Amara paused thoughtfully. Earth's history is filled with wars and conflicts among our own kind. We learned the hard way that destruction is easy, but healing and rebuilding take much longer. When we united as a planet and looked to the stars, we chose a different path. Meanwhile, Sanjay worked with Confederation diplomats, including representatives from more moderate Scourge factions who had been contacted after the battle. The captured Scourge crews, treated humanely by their captors, had begun opening discussions with their leadership. "This is unprecedented," said a Scourge diplomat, his dark armor now bearing symbols of peace rather than war. "No species has ever defeated a Scourge fleet without annihilation. Your mercy has created an opportunity for dialogue that has never existed before." "Sometimes the strongest statement isn't destruction, but restraint," Sanjay replied. "Humanity learned that different perspectives can coexist without conflict." Krav, the Valkyrie intelligence officer, joined their discussion. "The Scourge Empire has already pulled back their second invasion wave. Your strategy worked, Sanjay. They fear what they don't understand, and they don't understand why you didn't destroy their fleet when you could have. Fear can lead to more aggression," Sanjay cautioned. "Our goal is understanding, not intimidation." 2 months after the battle, the Confederation Council convened a special session. High Commander Zrel stood before the assembly with Admiral Chen and Dr. Okafor at his side. "Today we announce the formation of the Joint Human Confederation Research Division," Zrel declared. "This new body will explore the unique scientific and technological approaches that humans have developed with the goal of sharing these innovations throughout the Confederation." Applause filled the chamber as Dr. Okafor stepped forward. "Thank you for this honor," she said. "But today, I wish to share humanity's most closely guarded secret, not a technology, but a philosophy." The chamber grew quiet as Amara activated a holographic display. It showed not technical schematics, but images from Earth's history: wars, reconciliations, diverse cultures coming together despite differences. "Humanity's greatest strength isn't our technology," Amara explained. "It's our diversity of thought. Our planet contains thousands of cultures, languages, and perspectives. Throughout our history, we fought over these differences, but eventually we learned that our diversity was actually our greatest asset." She advanced the display to show Earth's unified government, its international scientific projects, its global cooperation. Different perspectives lead to innovation. Conflicting ideas, when respected and explored rather than suppressed, create new possibilities. The very technologies that impressed you were born from collaboration between people who thought differently from each other. War Commander Thornton stepped forward. "The Valkyrie have always valued strength and unity of purpose. How does embracing difference create strength rather than weakness?" "Because the universe itself is diverse," Elena answered. "No single approach can address every challenge. When we face the unknown, having multiple perspectives gives us more tools to understand and respond." Thornton considered this, then nodded slowly. "My people have much to learn from yours, Admiral, as do all of us." In the following months, news spread throughout the galaxy of how the humans, once mocked for their tiny fleet, had defeated the dreaded Scourge. Species from beyond Confederation space began sending diplomatic missions to Earth, eager to meet these remarkable beings. 1 year after first contact, Admiral Chen stood on the observation deck of a new vessel, the Unity, AER, Joint Human Confederation flagship that combined the best aspects of all their technologies. Beside her stood Thornton, now her friend and ally. "They're ready," Thornton said, gesturing to the view screen. Outside, hundreds of small, sleek vessels moved in perfect formation, a demonstration of the new combined fleet. Ships of human design flew alongside newly built Confederation vessels that had adopted human principles of size, speed, and adaptability. "No one is laughing now," Thornton remarked. "That was never our goal," Elena replied. "Respect is good, but understanding is better. The Confederation mocked our ships because they didn't understand our approach. The Scourge feared us because they didn't understand our mercy," True strength comes from understanding. Thornton turned to her. What will humanity teach us next, I wonder? Elena smiled. That's the beauty of it. We don't know. When different minds work together, the possibilities are endless. That's the true power of being human. Not knowing all the answers, but being endlessly curious about the questions. As they watched, the fleet of small vessels executed a complex, beautiful maneuver, forming a pattern that represented all the species of the Confederation working together in harmony, a pattern that had begun with a tiny fleet that no one in the galaxy would ever laugh at again.